This conference will now be recorded.
One moment. Okay, this is my folder, and there are few I dumped. October 23. Let's see.
Maybe you can refresh it to open it again.
Yeah,
Refresh the whole page.
workbooks that he use.
Try opening the same one. I think it should open, but I'm not sure why it's going a blank page. So open sheet 3. You tried. Yeah, now it will open. Come on. Is the data set is too large, or is it a live connection?
It's not live at all. No. Oh, okay, this one opened up. Okay.
Okay. So, what was your question?
Actually, that's not the one. That's not the
Okay.
problem I had.
Okay.
So basically, let's say they are this. This is the project, right? KP is a project
Right.
image.
Right.
I have all these things over here.
All data sources and the workbooks are there. Yeah.
Okay. Some don't have data source in them.
That can't be possible, but select that. If you see data sources tab, there is two.
There are two data sources because yeah, I did a cross database join as well.
Join. So if you say there is no data source, it can't be possible actually.
So you have to have a data source in.
Yep, either live or extract, there should be something.
Okay. Otherwise, okay.
Otherwise, view will not work at all. It can't be possible practically to not to have a data source and to have a view.
Right. So you have to publish the data source first, and then you create your workbook and you dump it back in. And
Yeah.
when you create a data source, let's say with the extract edit option, and then you save that data source into that particular folder, you go back and start creating, the- and you remove the edit option, and you start creating it. It's still gonna work, is it?
Mm, now I'm confused with the question. Okay, let me tell you the three scenarios which is there, and maybe that can help you out with your questions. Okay, let me share my screen and let's get started with the doubts which I just heard, and I will try to resolve them. Okay,
Okay.
so can you just stop sharing and let me share?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me know once able to see my screen.
Yeah, I can.
You can. Okay, so let's close this. So now, and I'm going to tell you from the scratch. Okay.
Okay.
Come on. So Microsoft Excel. So Excel. So others. Okay. So we talked about live and extract connections, right? If you try
Yeah.
to save the sheet, there are two options, which is TWB and TWBX. TWBX is by default the extract ones. TWB is a live connection.
Right.
Okay. So let me say Ravi. Okay, and save it as TWB. Okay, and move to sheet one. So as it is a TWB and I didn't want it to be a extract one, I just moved on to sheet one, and then I can directly create my visualizations.
Right.
Fine. Then when I go to server and let me sign in first. Okay. So there are two options. One is publish your data source or
Oh,
directly publish your workbook.
right.
Okay. So just forget about the data source. Select publish your workbook. So my training is a project name. Ravi is the workbook which I created. If I come to the data sources, it says one embedded data source in the workbook.
Okay.
Okay, embedded one. I'm not asking it to publish separately. So what happens? Let's say this one as embedded. Okay, publish it. So when I publish it, what happens? It got published, and when you see the data source, it is going to be a live connection.
Got it.
Okay. Then again, with the same one, I went ahead and say publish workbook, but this time I'm going to publish separately.
Okay.
Okay, and say not embedded, say publish separately. So it says publish workbook and one data source, right?
Right.
So when I do this, mm, 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 mm. So then it is asking me for the name. Let's override it, not an issue. So when I do publish separately, it says workbook is been published and data source is also published. So when you see the data source, it is again going to be a live connection, but this time it connects to some data source. In this one, this connects to sample superstore is not editable, which can't be used within different workbooks. But in this case, when it is published separately, you can actually go ahead and click on it, and you see your data source is like available for the for you see I just published it, but it is connecting for the two different workbooks. So you do, if you are using same data source multiple times to create different workbooks, you don't have to publish it separately again and again. What you can
Okay.
do, you can publish it, and then you can uh, create your own visualizations. Okay,
Okay.
so these are the two difference: publishing it separately or publishing it as an embedded ones. But in both the cases, there is going to be a data source.
Okay. The first one is the first option when you embedded is you can't open it, you mean?
You can't use it with the other workbooks. It
Ah,
is
okay.
wholly and solely used for this workbook only.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
but but in this case, it is a shared connection.
right. In this folder, the other workbooks can use this particular data source.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and also you see in the data source you have when you publish separately, you can't see schedule refresh here, but here if you see which is embedded ones, like in the data source. Okay, this is a live one, so it is and again going to be a live connection. So it is not uh, for that you have to publish with a hyper connection. So that's why it is not giving. So these are the two things. Okay, again the last thing which I wanted to show you is, let me create a new one. This time I'm going to say extract, and I went to sheet one. It asked me to have extract, and let's say extract. Okay, save it, create your own visualization. Okay, and then save server. Again you will get both of the options, publishing separately or publishing it in embedded one. But this time, as you see, there's a extract scheduling option. That was a live connection, right? So you're not getting any scheduling option. Every time any changes will be in your database, that will be directly visible on your Tableau workbooks. But this time, as you're using an extract connection, it is asking you which extract you want to use, which refresh schedule you want to use.
Okay.
Okay, and here also you can publish it separately or embedded in the workbook. Both the cases is also applicable here also.
And what does
So if you
this
say
one do here?
what?
I mean, during extract, how does these two work? Public separately
It work.
or?
So embedded in workbook means it will be like embedded within the workbook, and published separately means others can also use that particular data source. So as simple as that.
Okay. Okay.
So let me show you that. So let's say first embedded in workbook and say Ravi extract embedded. Okay, publish it. So now when you do this, you see data source also, and you see refresh extract also. Okay, and let me publish it separately. So here you see, you don't see any extract refresh as you see it here, right? So when you
Right.
go to the data source and then when you go here, you will able to refresh your extract.
Okay.
So these are the 4 scenarios.
Got it.
So live have 2 scenarios and extract have 2 scenarios.
Okay.
I think I answered your question, or you're still confused?
No, I'm not confused. This is clear for me.
Hmm.
I saw some video where this guy was he used filter in the data source itself,
Hmm.
okay, and he published that workbook,
Hmm.
and then he removed the filter, created a workbook,
Hmm.
and, and he again published the workbook into that particular folder.
Okay.
Okay. Um, uh, as an extract, by the way, what difference
Hmm.
does it make when you first edited uh, using the filter in the worksheet in the first page as in the data source page? Does it make a
First page
difference?
means
The
first
data
page.
source page, data source, he went to extract,
Hmm.
okay, uh, and he edited it
Okay, he
using the
created the
filter,
filter. Yeah, the extract filter.
extract filter,
Okay.
with the incremental refresh. He clicked on
Okay.
increment, he just clicked, and then he published it. Later
Okay.
on,
Hmm.
he removed that filter,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
and he created his visualization with complete
Hmm.
data source, whatever is available, and he posted
Right.
back in it.
So did he use the same name for that or a different name?
Same name, similar name,
So he replaced that extract.
but he published it in the same folder.
Yeah,
That
yeah. But he replaced with the same name, or did he publish it with a different name? That's what my question is.
each page was different name for sure. Data source when he published data source was different name, but when he created a sheet as well as a dashboard,
Hmm.
obviously that part of it was a different name.
Okay. Forget about that example. Let me give you a clear understanding what happens. Okay. Let's say you have created one extract. In this case, you have created it with the sample superstore. Okay, and you publish that extract. Okay, let's say with the extract filters on it.
Right.
okay, with the incremental load. You published it and you have scheduled that refresh on the extract. Okay, so whatever the workbooks are connected to those extracts will be getting refreshed, or depending upon whatever schedule you have put into. Okay,
Okay.
let's say tomorrow you come back and created the another extract in your local with the same name, uh, and without any extract filters, and you published it by replacing the previous extract. So your incremental load and your extract refresh will be gone. Okay, it will be completely new data set. And
Okay.
whatever the workbooks which are connected previously will get impacted.
Okay.
Okay, so the good practice is to publish it with the extract, no doubt about it. But if you're using the same set of data sources and if you're using the same name, avoid it. Don't use the same name.
Okay. Got it.
And these things, I think administrator want to be like looking into these things. Your role will be about granting the permissions, granting, managing the sites, managing the server, etc. But these things will be taken care by developers, not by you.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, it's good to know what is
Okay.
happening. So always remember, if you're replacing some things, if you're replacing any dashboard or if you're replacing any extracts or the data source, the previous one will be totally wiped out and the new one will be sitting on top of it.
Okay.
So in this way, there can be chances of, that's why it gives you a pop-up, right? Like this particular data source name is already exists. Do you want to override it or not? So
Yeah.
if you say yes without looking into it, your workbooks are going to be impacted.
Right. Okay.
I
Okay.
hope
Got
that
it.
clears your questions.
Yeah. For now, this is good. And regarding the permissions,
Yeah, coming to that.
uh, okay.
I'll come into that. Don't worry. So this part is okay?
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Okay. Okay. Coming to the previous discussions, what we had about adding a user um, and giving a site role for this. Okay. So these are divided into three categories: creator, explorer, and viewer. And this permission for the users is totally for the entire site, entire Tableau server.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so this is the one part. The second part is when you create any workbook, and if you are the owner of that workbook, you will be able to give permissions to them. This we haven't discussed yet. But
Okay.
if you bring the topic, uh, this was a portion I was going to discuss today. So
Okay.
let's move on with our session 2 and then discuss this part 2. So the first one was totally depending upon the whole site. Okay, and this one is again, let's say I'm adding a group or a user, and I say Ravi. Okay, so here also you will see you have a different roles, but these roles will be totally depending upon your workbook, not on your site. Okay, so you can be an explorer. So you see, if you select explore, whatever the explore part which is predefined is being tick marked. So you will be able to view it, filter it, comment on it, add the comments, etc.
Mhm.
If you say you're publish, then again you can download and save as a copy and override it. Override it means override the workbook.
Okay.
So if you're an administrator, everything will be given permission to. If you have a none, nothing will be your permissions. And if you say denied, even if you have a permission on the site,
Okay.
you will be denied to have those permissions on the workbook.
Okay.
So let me give you an example, not like this. Come on. So the permissions which we just talked about is a view, interact, and edit. Okay, view can view it, download image. This we know, right? So how the permission execution happen? Let's say if you say denied on any workbook level, okay, and user is specifically denied, then it will go to the denied option. Okay, if say you are not denied, the user is allowed, then you're totally allowed. But if you're a member of a group which is denied, but you have allowed on the user level, then again you're also denied. To clear
Okay.
thing, so let me go to groups. Yeah, I've already created extract, right? So, so if I say Ravi, and if I say that you are only a viewer, and I say save, and if I add and I say IT, so IT automatically was a explorer in my user group. Okay, and if I say and you are a part of those groups, okay, right now you're not, so let me say Sid. Save view. So even though Sid is a view access, but Sid is a part of IT. Okay, so he can publish also. So he will be having all these access too, irrespective of he individually he had only view access.
Oh, so if he got the complete permissions and as a group, even though
Mhm.
initially he doesn't have that permissions, he will inherit all the additional permissions to do multiple things, including publish later on,
Yep.
even though he
So
doesn't have the permission. Okay.
it is just like a mathematics, and or. So Sid and IT totally what permissions Sid will be having? Everything till the viewer. Let's say the group itself is a administrator and Sid itself is a view, then he will be having an administrator level of permissions, irrespective of he's having view as an individual. But let's say this is view, no, let's say this is explore, and let's say this is administrator. So even if Sid is a part of this group, overall permission to the Sid is as an administrator. So whosoever, if it is belongs to that group, okay. So irrespective of whatever permissions you have, the overall permission will be addition of those two. So if it is a extra permission given to either group or the individual person, he or she will be having those permissions too.
Okay. That means what you're saying is if I import this guy from CSV
Mhm.
file with all the permissions, irrespective, he has permissions for all the workbooks.
Now come again.
If
If
I imported this guy with all the
uh,
permissions into the site, he automatically has all permissions to if I don't change it, if he automatically has all permissions to all the workbooks, or let's
Yes.
or let's say if this guy has no permissions at all, and but I still put him in a group with certain permission, uh,
Yes.
with more permissions, with like explore with publish permissions, he can inherit that
Hmm.
as well.
Yes. So, two things. One is a site permission and one is a workbook level permission. So let's say on the site you are a viewer, but on a workbook level you are an administrator. So for that particular workbook, you will be having all those permissions. But
Okay.
as a site, let's say you have a site as a site administrator. But for that workbook, you are only a viewer. Okay. So irrespective of your site administrator, you will not be able to view it.
Oh,
Sorry, you will be only able to view it, not can't do anything else. Irrespective of you are a site administrator too. So totally depend upon the workbook permissions.
okay. You can furthermore, if I don't change the permissions in the workbook, you can see everything. If I change the permissions there, you cannot access it.
Yes. So let's say I'm a site administrator, okay, but for a workbook, I have denied you have denied the access that Siddharth can't see that workbook. So if I'm a site administrator too, I can't see the workbook at all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that can be done. But on a workbook, let's say I'm an administrator, but on a site, I'm a what do you say, viewer, let's say for example. So in that case, for that particular workbook, for only that workbook, I will be the administrator.
And what was the other one? If is a part of a group which was denied access, that means
Hmm.
if is a part of a group where is denied access, that means no matter which workbook he goes to or a project which he goes to, he might not have the access because I set up a I denied every access on to him because he's a part of a group.
Okay. Okay, hold on. So right now you're clear between workbook and the site permissions.
Yes.
Okay. Coming to the workbook level permission. Again, the workbook level permissions are divided into two things. One is like an individual permission and one is a group permission. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Combining those two sets, let's say, let's say you're part of group also and you're a part of individual permissions also. So combining both of the permissions, you will get all the access. So if you are on a group level, you are an administrator, but individual level, you are a viewer, you will get an administrator level access
Okay.
and vice versa. So let's say individually you are having an administrator, but on a group you have having a viewer, you will get an administrator access.
But if you're
So it
denied in a
will be,
group,
if you denied it also on a group, but individually you have given the permission, you will have the access.
okay.
So it is combining, it will be overall set of group, set of individual. It is not likely to be a part of a group also and to give a individual permissions too. There can be like a one or two like exceptions, but usually it didn't happen.
The slide you just showed before, it has like if
Yeah.
the group if you're denied in a group, individually you're also denied. That's what the slide you showed me, right?
One second. One second. This
This
one.
one. Yeah, this one.
So you say user is specifically denied. Okay, then it is a denied one. Okay, user is specifically allowed, then it is allowed one. If it is a part of a denied group,
Okay. Yeah,
okay,
this is
so okay, this is now the complete one. Like if you have a co- uh, if you are part of a group and it is a denied one, then you will be denied, no doubt about it. But if you're a part of a user, like an individual user, and you're allowed, then you're allowed. I will give you a practical example. Let's see. Uh, cancel this. Cancel this. Go to train. Let's take an example of test one. Okay, we will be working on test one. Permissions. Okay, let's go back to user.
Oh,
This go to thing. Just covering like half of my screen. Let's go to the user and say Ravi, and says it is unlicensed. Change it to viewer. Change site. Let's open test. Set permissions. Entity and unique groups. So, and add user. Set Ravi and user. Not explore. Train. Test one. Permissions. And user. Say Ravi. Okay. Manage administrator access and add IT and give the viewer access. So in this case, what will happen? You will get all the administrator access, right? According to the theory.
okay.
Let's go back. Let's see. Here. Ravi. Right now you don't have permissions to the project also. Okay, let's go back and see permissions, and it says for all users it is denied, so I have to add you, say IT, and I say publish it, so save. So you see, I have to add you first on the project, and then let's refresh this or log in, log out. Oh, I'm in the maths one, not the default. Let's go to training, test one, and if I open it, I should be having everything, even downloading the workbook permissions I have. So I have every permissions,
Okay.
right? And even I can give the permissions also.
Okay.
So you see, the administrator level is having a permission level, but just as a custom one, let's say I denied or remove your permissions and say just as a publish and not delete you. So what different scenarios you want? You tell me.
You did cover, but practically speaking, if you have hundreds of users, is it easier to manage so many users like this?
No, so that's why the group comes into the picture, right? Like for a particular group, you will add a users, bunch of users in different groups, and then you will manage them according to the permissions you want to give it to them, to that bunch.
So if you this group has started a project, in the beginning of it only, I will set up the permissions for them
Yep.
in the beginning
Not
of the
even at the
project.
beginning of the project, maybe like later on, once you start growing and you learn that who or which bunch should be having a permission to which workbox, and which bunch should be having a permission to what sites, then accordingly you will decide that, and then you will provide those permissions. So yeah, theoretically speaking, it's a lot to have. Okay, and there's a lot happens if you're having 1,000 of users. So it is difficult to manage, but that is what the administrator part is, to manage them. Sorry to say so, but you guys are there because these are very lengthy processes. I know it looks easy, but the concept wise, if you're not clear, you will not able to see what's going on inside it. So it's good to be confused in the beginning.
Okay. Okay.
Even it takes me a lot of practical examples happen. That's why I know, even someone asks me a question, now I know that no, if you do this will happen, and I'm clear about it.
And
So it
when
takes
somebody
time.
asks you, when some programmer asks you for a permission, he usually should ask it. I mean, if he sends you a mail to give permission to you, permission for him, usually
Mhm.
it should be authenticated by his manager or somebody.
Yeah, so let's say he raised a ticket, okay, to give me a permissions, then that ticket will be approved by their managers. If there's a second level of approval, maybe with the directors, that will happen. Then it will come to you after taking all those criteria, like whatever the company criterias are. Then at last the request will come to you. Okay, yes, this user is asking for the permission and he has all the approvals. If he's coming to you and he's not having all those approvals, you will again send them back and saying that go back and take all the approvals. Okay.
Okay.
Once the approval is done, then you will go ahead and set those permissions for him.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, because blindly you can't just trust the user just by they're asking that to give it the permissions to me and you will directly give it to them. That will not happen at all.
Okay. The process itself is raise a ticket
Yeah.
if you
So
want something.
it depends upon the company to company. Maybe the ticketing system is Jira. Maybe a ticketing system is Autotask or the Bright Gauge. So depending upon whatever you're using, maybe it can be on email too if it is a small company. Okay. So then that email will be approved by their managers too, and then you will get the permission. But there
Oh,
there should be some process to be followed.
got it. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so now you know about the site permissions and as well as the workbook permissions.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I know it will take time to get this thing clear, or maybe a couple of more questions you will be having later on, but I'm okay with that. Just go back and clear this out. Okay, take a pen, paper, and write whatever the doubts you have, or whatever the understanding you have, and then it will get more clear.
Yes. Uh, yeah. I'm in a
Okay.
better place actually than I was in yesterday.
Uh, yeah, these doubts do create a lot of fuss, but at the end you will feel better that no, I know something now.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on with the schedules. So we saw that when we publish those extracts, we get an option of schedules.
Oh,
Yeah,
Siddharth,
yeah, tell me.
one more thing. Just here in this page,
Mhm.
when you're publishing something, right?
Right.
Here you have a link which says permissions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, in
So this
that,
is nothing but the group, sorry, workbook permissions.
this is workbook permissions. When you
Yeah.
click on all users, let's say you are the admin. Do
Yep.
you inherit all the permissions, right? In this, when you add to it, but
No,
when you add,
no,
yeah,
no, no, no. It is a custom one. Okay. Even if I'm a site administrator, I will not be having all those permissions to those custom ones. I'll tell you why I am having those. Because let's go back. Let's go back and say, oh, it is hanging.
you're logged in as Ravi here.
Sorry, yeah. That's what I'm thinking what was happening.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's see here. I have all the permissions right now. Okay. Let me change the owner and say Ravi is the owner. Then, irrespective of having a server administrator, oh, I'm the server administrator actually. So you can't stop me to do anything. I have to be a site administrator for that. 1 second. Yeah, I'm a server administrator. 1 second. Let me log in as a SID. But yes, okay. Let me show you in this way. I've already logged in as a Ravi, right? Okay, I am the owner of this. Ravi is not the owner of this one, right? Like Ravi is having only those permissions which um, we have set it on the workbook. So right now you can't see anything. Okay,
Okay.
and Ravi is a viewer. Let's change the side routes and say it as a viewer. No, there should be. That's what. Just because you have said that. So see, it's trying to set him as a viewer, right? But in some of the groups, Ravi is already an explorer. So that's why it is saying viewer side role is lower than the minimum set in the user groups. So that's why it is not allowing me to set you back as a viewer.
Okay.
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 So let me go back and say that Ravi is an explorer, but I'm signed in as a Ravi here and I'm the explorer. But when I go back and see what permissions I have, I don't have any permissions, barely having any permissions, right? But let me go back and change the owner of that particular workbook as Ravi. So what
Okay.
happens is when you're the owner, irrespective of the permissions on the site, you will be having all the permissions on the workbook.
Okay. On the particular webbook. Okay.
So now if you see, I have everything.
Okay.
So got my point?
Yep.
It does not depend upon the site permissions. Site permissions is totally about your logging in and seeing what you can see. Right now, I can't see anything as a user or group. I can't manage it. Nothing. I can only explore. Okay.
Got it.
But on the workbook level, I'm the owner and I can do stuff. But just for that particular workbook, not for anything else.
Okay.
All clear?
Yep.
Okay. Coming to schedules. Okay. Um, remember, I told you in the starting that depending upon your purchase, you can actually go ahead and do the scheduling part.
Yes.
Uh, that was the case with the previous what do you say purchase which we had 2 years back. Now what we have is when you do the purchase, uh, you don't have to buy your scheduler explicitly. What you can do, you can set your frequency according to your own will.
Okay.
Okay, depending upon the days. It can be daily, monthly, weekly, yearly, daily twice, whatever you want. So anything which you can think of that this can be a scheduler and this is what I want for my extract to be refreshed. You don't have to purchase anything now. You just have to add that scheduler here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say I give you a scheduler daily refresh. And it's always better to give any number. Daily, let's say daily, and say 1 p.m. Okay. It can be extract refresh, a subscription, or a flow. Right now, we will just concentrate upon the extract refresh. Priority can be 50, it can be parallel, okay, and say daily per day at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Say every day, create it. Okay, daily 1 p.m. is created. When you go back, create one workbook. So now you see daily 1 p.m. is also available.
Got it. Okay. From here itself
Okay.
is a
From here also, or let's say you say none and you published it. We have already done that. And say extract refresh. And if you want to schedule a refresh, am I the owner? I am the owner.
you're logged in
I'm
as a
logged
Ravi.
in zero way. That's what I'm thinking. What's happening? Okay. Refresh, extract, refresh, and a new extract. And you see here it will be there. You can schedule it.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Yep.
This is how like you can change it frequency also. Again, if you want to change it, you can change its priority. Okay,
Okay.
you can change or delete it or run it for now. So if
Okay.
you want to, as you have scheduled it also, but right now you want to refresh your data, you can manually run it.
Okay.
You can refresh your extract. Here from here also you can click here and say extract refresh, and it will refresh your extract. For now, this will not happen because we have uploaded an Excel report, and that does not contain any user or the password. It is just the Excel file, so it does not have any connection with the data source. So to schedule a refresh, you have to have two things. One is like a data source, and one is your user ID password link to embedded in your extract. Okay, so it can be a SQL server, it can be like a AWS platform, it could be anything, but authentication part should be there.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go back to the scheduler. So you can choose or create your own schedules according to your own will. So nobody is going to stop you to create n number of schedulers. Okay, but it is always good to have a scheduler which is like you can name it or create it, keep it with you, so that if someone come back and ask you for this particular scheduler, you can provide it to them. Okay, what you can do is you can actually manage those schedules.
Okay.
So managing means, let's say you have all these schedules, okay, but you don't want everyone to see it for now. Although you have created it, but you can't. You want no one to use it, so you can say that disable the schedule for now. Okay, and if you go back to explore, say training, others, extract refresh, extract. So if they are seeing it also, but you don't want them to be enabled, this will not run at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, it by default from the back end you have disabled it.
Okay.
So you see in the next run it is disabled. So it is not going to run.
Okay.
Okay, so create only those schedules, although it will be provided with the company guidelines that what schedules you want to create. And if it is up to you, remember, don't create a bulk schedulers. Okay, because in that way your Tableau server will become very heavy. So always, it is always good to have like 2-3 weekly, 2-3 daily, and 2-3 monthly schedulers. And you should be guiding your project wise that you should, if they're connecting to the same data source, for example, okay, and if you schedule every workbook at the same time, your data source is going to be hit by all those workbook extracts, and that way your data load will be very slow.
Okay.
Okay, it is just an example, like if you have opened a shop and everyone comes to eat lunch at 1 p.m., the line will be growing like hell and you will not able to serve everyone. And if everyone decide that 10 people will come at 1, then again 10 people will come at 1:15, and that way the crowd will be divided. So you have to divide that crowd.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how it works.
Got it.
Okay, so we talked about users, we talked about things, jobs. So if you have scheduled anything, okay, if you have already scheduled anything, and if you want to see what schedulers have ran or not, then you can see it from the job section.
Okay. In that scheduling, there is a parallel and
Series.
series. So if there are too many lined up on at the same time, if it's
No.
parallel means
So
everything will run.
parallel means in your workbooks you have like 5 views. Okay, all 5 views will be refreshed parallelly or in a series. So
Oh,
no, sorry, not the views. If you're like all you have a extract, and with that extract, uh, how I can say, do you know how parallel and load and series load works? I don't know. I believe. Um, how can I give you an example? Mm, Okay, so let's say you have 10 blocks on point A, and there's another point B 100 meters away from it. Okay, and I have told you to, so you are 5 of them, and I have told you to put up a box and place it to point B. But at a time, only one person can put those boxes. So if even if you're 5 of them, one will pick the box and put it to point B, then the other will pick and then put it to point B, and that way the time will take more.
okay,
If I told you to pick 5 of them to pick it parallelly and put it to the point B, in 2 times you will be putting all the 10 blocks to the point B,
okay,
right?
yeah,
You understand the example? So the same way, when it is asking you for a parallel refresh of your data, so data uh, in the extract, what it does, it create nodes. It create parallel nodes on which first your data will be loaded from extract to that node, and that node will be transferring the data to the Tableau server nodes, and that Tableau server nodes will be parallelly dumping the data into the extract.
okay,
Okay, if I say series, then at a time only, uh, like let's say there are 10 nodes available, but only one node will be functioning at a time. So the
okay,
data load will be slow.
okay, okay. Oh, got it, got it.
Got it?
Got it. For a minute before I asked the question, I was thinking maybe if multiple workbooks are being scheduled at the same time, maybe they do it incrementally. After one
No,
is
no,
finished, the
no,
okay.
no, no.
This is only regarding
So one,
this workbook.
so no, no. So let's say this workbook, this extract is linked to 10 of the workbooks, for example. Okay.
Okay,
So if one extract is refreshed and it is just shared one, all the workbook will be refreshed parallelly,
okay, got it. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So the parallel and the series load is totally the concept is totally for loading the data from your data source to the extract. It is nothing to do with the workbooks.
Okay, okay. And everything is it depends on your processors and
Yep, your cores, how many cores you have.
yeah.
Okay, I was talking about the jobs. So if you have scheduled something, okay, and if you in the extract refresh, if you have any schedulers, and all those schedulers are there, and you have schedule your job to load the data, the job will be created with the every data refresh. Okay, so you see, for if you click on any job ID, you will be seeing that a particular refresh will be assigned for a particular job ID. And these job IDs are created for the logging purpose. That you can also go ahead and see that how, at what time it ran, what is the status. Okay,
Okay,
what's the status? How much time it took? Was it in a queue or not? and what is the average run time or average queue time.
Okay.
Okay, so uh, so I wanted to show you if something fails, how it will look. That's why I opened this one. Yeah. Okay. So if something is like running right now, so it will say in process. If
Okay.
something is like waiting for the resources, it will say pending, or it will say cancelled if it is a cancelled one, and if it is a completed one, it will say completed.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what all about the jobs. Like it's not that hard, but yeah, you can actually go ahead and let's say right now nothing is running. That's the issue. So let me tell you from here itself. So let's say if any job is running right now, okay, and you want to manage those, so you can actually cancel it, okay. Anything is running and you don't want them to run, you can cancel that job, and you can also go ahead and set who can. Once you click on the cancel, it will give you this pop-up option saying Tableau server will send an email with the information about the cancel job. You can provide the additional information below, such as reason of the canceling of the job. And you can say that to whom you want to send the email to.
Okay.
So if you're canceling it, it will directly send an email notification to them. And if you don't want to send them an email notification, you can uncheck everything.
Okay. And the reason for the failure might be unavailable
So
because
it
of the
can
data
be
source.
like it can be that let's say on a data source, your data is not loaded yet. Your tables are not refreshed yet, and the job ran on the scheduled time. Okay. Uh, let's say the table should, in ideal scenario, the table should be loaded at 1 p.m. daily, and then at 1:30 p.m. the scheduler of the Tableau server should be running. With because of some reason it didn't, the load didn't happen in the data source itself, but the scheduler ran in the Tableau server. So that is not going to load anything. That is not going to solve our purpose, right? So in that case, you can go ahead and cancel it to save time.
Okay, this scheduler is for updating
Tableau,
a live or an extract workbook.
not live, only extract.
Oh, the scheduler is only for extract.
Mm,
Live is it's
it's
automatically
a live
happening
connection.
parallelly.
Yep.
Both are not the same. I thought the
No,
scheduler,
live,
whatever we saw just now.
live, live connections are something like if anything, any changes happen in your data source, that will be directly popping up in your workbooks. You don't have to wait for it. But if it is connected to the extract, those data which is like the changes happen in the data source, but until unless you refresh your extract, it won't pop up.
Okay, this schedule is only for extracts completely. Okay.
Yep. So in a live connection, for example, this one was live, I believe. Yeah, so you don't see anything extract refresh, right? Because it is a live connection. Okay,
Oh,
but if you see here, extract, and go to the data source, you see it as a live because it is connected to the extract. With the extract, workbook is live, but what about the extract? So extract says the extract refreshes are there.
okay.
Okay, so although it says live, but it is not live. The interface got changed recently. Earlier, it don't used to say a live connection, but now it says live.
Okay.
but that's fine. Any other extract is not live, so we know that. So if it is not an extract connection, then it is a live connection. But if it is an extract connection, it is a live to extract, but that extract is not live. We got my
Right.
point, I believe. Got it?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good then. So we talked about jobs.
Even
So
if I
let
don't understand, I'm gonna play back this video.
yeah, yeah. So no, no, I want you to understand because I don't want you to go back and play back the video. It's good to understand on the go.
Yeah, but when I play back, right, whatever I missed, it's
Hmm.
I get to record it twice, so it stays there
Yeah. Okay.
in my head. I mean,
It works for you.
oh yeah, it does
Okay.
help. It does help.
Okay. Okay. Talking about the tasks. Okay. So task is a collection of your workbook and your data source. Uh, workbooks, only those workbooks in your which contains your extracted data, the TWBX file.
Okay, yeah.
So you see, test one was TWBX, and also you have a data source. If I take my example, we will be having a lot of them. So you see, these all are the data sources, and I think we have only data sources. So it is a good habit to only do your data sources as your refresh. You should not publish your TWBX file. You should always try to publish your extract and workbook separately.
I'm sorry, I lost you there. Connection problem.
Okay. Okay. So what I was saying that it is a good habit to only publish your data source separately, not in your embedded workbooks. Okay, so as you see this one, the extract is embedded in this. This is TWBX file, right?
Okay,
This is the hyper one. So you don't you this should not be a good practice.
okay,
Okay, so in the task section, you can see all the workbooks in the data source, and you can actually change whatever you can do in the schedule pod. You can like the extract refresh pod. You can do it directly from here. So like let's say you have to do it for a bulk of them. You have a lot of extracts there, and you want to change the timings or something for bulk of them. You can actually change it from here.
okay,
Okay, or if you want to run a bulk of them manually, you can select those and run it directly.
okay,
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 same goes for flows, subscription, and alerts.
okay,
Right now we have only subscription and alerts. We don't have flows in our database. So that's fine. Okay. I think site status. So this is a good topic and it will take a lot of time to cover. So tomorrow we will continue with the site status. I'm going to take a stop here. So if you have any
okay.
questions, come back and do let me know. So I think we had a good session today. We learned a lot. We cleared our doubts a lot. So
Oh
uh,
yes, yeah.
yes.
My doubts are cleared
So
actually because it was bugging me from 2 days now.
no, okay. Yeah, it's good to have those questions, Ravi. I appreciate that. So I think you're going back and doing all those work which you need to do, which you need to put your hands on. So kudos to you. So come back
Thank
like
you.
these questions, and we will continue our sessions tomorrow.
All right,
Okay.
all right, all right,
All
Siddharth.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ravi.
Thank you. Have a
You
good day.
too. You have a good day. Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye.